If this doesn't increase your faith of how serious God is, nothing will. Proof of what he did to Sodom and Gomorrah.
Nothing will.
Sure. So Josephus, a Jewish historian writing around the time of Christ, said during his time that you could still see the evidences, you could still see Sodom and Gomorrah clearly, that they were still visible. Now we have to understand that Sodom and Gomorrah existed about 4,000 years ago. So 2,000 years after Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, Josephus writes that you could still see the cities visibly. So we're 2,000 years beyond that. But we also have to understand that when God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, and it appears to be the surrounding cities in this Dead Sea region, that he reduced them to ashes. Now what we can see here is a lot of brimstone here in this area. So I'm going to talk about some of the evidences. So Josephus says he could see the cities clearly. They have discovered in these areas a brimstone, and they're like balls. And this brimstone is totally different than any other
brimstone. Today they would call it sulfur.
Place on the planet. Most other brimstone, and I should mention brimstone is synonymous with sulfur. So brimstone is kind of the old word for sulfur. So we have found sulfur balls all over in these city areas here, and it's unlike any other sulfur on the planet. As I mentioned, they're white, and they are about 90 to almost 100% pure. So you could
regular kind of sulfur from volcanic rock and ash is 40% pure. This is 98, which shows you this is not something from man.
And light them with a match, and they burn this deep blue, yellowish color, just burning the rocks. It's just almost solid sulfur. Now, most sulfur found around the world is greenish and runs about 40 to 50% in sulfur purity. So we have these sulfur balls here that are unique. They're round, and they are almost pure.
Oh, it gets deeper than that. Watch this.
This brimstone is made of monoclinic, white sulfur that has been burned or cooked at a high temperature. It is quite different from natural sulfur that is formed in geothermal areas. Samples were taken to a lab for analysis. Each specimen was carefully separated and prepared for testing, with the outer portion cast aside. Next, the samples were dried and placed in a rock crusher.
You won't believe what they figured out.
If this doesn't increase your faith of how serious God is, nothing will.
They were pressed onto a
Proof
disc.
of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Then they were loaded into a machine for the...
So what you're looking at, they took the sulfur from volcanic rock and ash, right? And they're weighing, and they're testing it for its purity, against the ones from Sodom and Gomorrah. And you won't believe what they found out from the one from volcano and ash, and the one from the Bible story from Sodom and Gomorrah, from the actual location of Sodom and Gomorrah, with all that sulfur on the ground. Peep game.
For the semi-quantitative X-ray analysis. Each sample was individually transported into the testing chamber for analysis. The results proved to be quite amazing. As the samples were found to be 98% pure sulfur, unlike any other sulfur
proved to be 98% pure sulfur
found on Earth.
That's the scale. They had to make a new scale for it. I know you can't really see it, but they had to make a new scale for it.
This pure cooked sulfur is the heavenly marker.
See that right there? Pure cooked sulfur, 98. You think the Most High playing? You crazy. If this don't increase your faith, nothing will.
That was left behind to show the world that the Lord, without a doubt, destroyed these sinful cities at his command. Critics have said that the sulfur is from volcanic activity, but that type of rhombic sulfur is only 40% sulfur.
Rhombic. It looks like a rhombus. They got pictures of regular sulfur, what it looks like after a volcano erupts.
And is of a crystalline form, unlike the white, compacted monoclinic form that is found in the ashen cities today. Here is a round piece of brimstone embedded in a section of ash.
Peep this one.
The yellow part. Look at that.
Same location.
Here. It's everywhere. Because the Bible said it rained sulfur.
All over the ground, everywhere. Same location.
So you
That's
can still
it.
come here to the present day Gomorrah. You will still find this kind of sulfur.
Yahweh said,
because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done.
The cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were full of evil, licentiousness, rampant with murder, and indulgence in extravagant pleasures. They reached the point of clamoring against God, of fighting against Him, and raging His disposition.
Where are the men which came into you this night? Bring them out to us, that we may know them.
After the angels took Lot and his family out of the city, burning sulfur rained down from the sky. The raging fire lit up the heavens.
Hurry up!
My house!
Our lives are on the line. Who cares about the house?
I'm not afraid. Just one look. Just one look.
Sodom, Gomorrah, and all their residents were reduced to ashes, disappearing into the wrath of God.